important part of Honesty and Lies is that it is told in two voices, in alternating chapters. So Honesty has a chapter, then Alice has a chapter, then Honesty, then Alice. It's the first time that I have tried to write in dual narrative. So I thought that I would break with the tradition of reading you the first chapter and read you the second chapter as well, so you can see something from Alice's point of view. So second chapter from Alice's, in Alice's voice. I hope you like it. This Welsh girl is short and slow. Turning to check that she is behind me has become like a game of tag. I have no time for games. Keep up, I scold her. She's small and bedraggled. Her feet have to take 2 steps to every one of mine. I try to slow my pace, but the winter bites in at my knuckles and dawdling is for lazy days. Glancing back, I can see that she is amazed by everything around her. Well, she might be. Amused by her expression, I view this part of London through a newcomer's eyes. This girl must come from the countryside, I'll warrant, by her clothes and the way her mouth drops open at every new corner we turn. I should do my bit to help her, as I would hope someone would help me if I were ever in a new city. I might have to escape to Amsterdam or France soon. I pushed this thought away. London is a dangerous place if you don't know your way about. I'll help her quickly and then get on with my work. This is where you get water. I point at the conduit, and before I can stop her, she pushes forward to splash her face. She receives a heavy clout from a woman for getting in her way. A guard approaches and the girl backs off quickly. Where I come from, you're allowed water, she utters ruefully. Here you must take your turn. I nod to the line of people waiting. She rubs fiercely at the back of her ear as water dribbles from her chin. Her face, now only streaked with dirt, looks slightly more acceptable. It was so cold, she shivers, but it was worth the pain. Of the water or the slap? Both. I feel better and ready for adventure again. I tut. This way. Hiding my amusement, I hook myself into the path of the wind, letting its blast propel me along, drawing my cloak close about me. This girl's clothes are made of wool and leather, but they are not warm enough for her to survive the night outside. If I do not help her, who knows what will happen to her? What's your name? She shouts at my back. Her voice mixes with that of a woman selling oranges, and she calls more loudly as if I have not heard her. When I don't answer, she begins to guess, yelling names as if she were selling them. Isabel! Marjorie! Catherine! Joan? This is a fine game at a fireside, but it does not suit the streets. Alice. I toss my name over my shoulder. It chimes clear as a bell. It was my mother's name, and it makes me proud to tell it. I sidestep to avoid an oncoming carriage, feeling muck splatter my skirts. I'm Honesty, she calls after me. It was the name of my mother's favourite flower. I stop and the girl almost bumps into me. Her mother must be gone too. It is a good name. Thank you. Alice is beautiful, like honey dripping from a summer day hive and making the grass glossy. A strange description, but pleasing nonetheless. We smile at each other. Honesty says, once I tied animal bones to the soles of my shoes for night skating under a waxing moon, but I was chased by baying wolves. I tusk and hurry along. Howling, they set after me, their claws scarring the frozen surface. Little did they know that they were weakening the ice with their scratches, making it easy for the water to seep through. They drowned, all of them, yowling and scrabbling and screaming to the unforgiving skies. Can wolves scream? I know they cannot. When you've stolen their dinner for skating, they can. Honesty rubs her arms. It is much colder here than where I came from. I wish I had not washed my face. The dirt was helping to keep me warm. Is it warm in Wales? I snort because I do not suppose it is. No, not at all, she giggles. I live close to the sea and it is cold as a snowball on the nose at this time of year. The fish are frozen solid when they're caught. You can break them in two with your fingers. Snap. I laugh again. It is preposterous. Once, the whole town froze and the buildings became so covered in ice, they all slid down into the sea. I laugh uncontrollably this time, which is not like me at all. Her stories have taken my mind off my own troubles, and I am grateful for it. There is a sudden surge of people, and we have to stand aside to let them pass. Where are they going in such a rush? Honesty asks, squashing herself flat to a timbered wall. They're on their way to a hanging. Oh, how awful. She watches them pass. Can we go? You do as you please, Honesty. I don't have time for entertainment. She deliberates, then decides that saving her own life is more urgent than watching others lose theirs. We walk on. Is it much further? She looks so tired, I feel she could fall flat on her face in the dung. We will cross the bridge and I will leave you there. Her mouth drops open when she sees London Bridge, and I feel a prickle of pride. It has houses on it. Yes, and many shops. Is it safe? Honesty looks down at the brown river fearfully. What unusual questions you ask, Honesty. We have the finest buildings in the world here. It will take an hour to cross it, which is why we must make haste. Ducking a wonky candlemaker's sign, I nip between a group of sailors who spill out from an alehouse singing, and a soldier crying into his beer. A couple of men stagger happily drunk from too much wassailing. When Honesty catches me, she is out of puff. You must be very important to be carrying a parcel for the Queen. I nod. No one ever asks me questions about my life because I keep it as small as I can, and I can feel my tongue bursting to tell someone something, anything. Honesty gawks, half-starved at a baker's, and I buy her a cake. I don't bother bartering for it as time is running short. She eats it so quickly I fear she will choke. I live at Greenwich Palace, I say proudly as she scurries alongside me. It is true for now, at least. A palace? Are you a friend of the Queen? No. I check about me that no one has overheard. I work there. It's very important work. This way. We pass an apothecary's beaked masks and remedies on display, and I have to go back to take hold of Honesty's arm. She soon stops again to stare at a mercer draping rippling silk over his outstretched arm as if it is trickling water. Honesty keeps talking as I drag her away. A palace must be magnificent. Are there turrets lined with gold? Do kings and princes from around the world visit often? I bet you get to do wonderful things. I take care of the Queen's clothes. It is a very important job for someone of 13 years. I cannot help revelling in her astonishment. And why shouldn't I tell this girl a little of my life? No one else is interested. This is the very finest lace, handcrafted in Southwark. I was fortunate enough to get work at the palace, and now I am surrounded by beauty and riches. Her eyes shine, and I find myself prattling on. Have you seen rubies red as a robin's breast? Sapphires bluer than swallows? The Queen has so many. Furs and skins and enough velvet gowns to clothe a village. Her pearls are from oceans 5 fathoms deep. Her diamonds are as clear as a babe's tear and large as a goose's egg. I do not have her way with words, but I have tried, and Honesty is suitably impressed. I am glad. What do you do there with the clothes? Do you have lots of gowns yourself? Are you allowed to wear silver and gold? Do you actually know the Queen? I am in a position of authority, treated well, and yes, I have come very close to the Queen indeed. I tell her of the processions we have been on across the country, how we pack the clothes and keep them, so the Queen may look glorious for her people in each new town. I tell her of the feasts and the dances, the festivities, frivolities and masked balls, but at the time I stop I have spoken more than I have to anyone in years. I almost believe I love the palace as much as I say I do. A blast of bitterly cold air brings me back to my senses. The wind whistles past us, rattling my words along the bridge where they could be caught by anyone. I scold myself. I must hurry. The wig maker will close soon. If you cross the bridge to the end and then turn along the river, you will find rooms at the Cross Keys Inn. I wish you safe journey and good fortune, Honesty. Thank you, Alice. You are too kind. I go. I talk too much and I must keep my guard. I turn to make sure Honesty is not following me. She stands where I left her, waving a hopeful farewell. I nod, then give a tight smile to show where we part as friends. The wind keens loudly enough to startle swans from the river as I leave. I don't look back again. Being alone is the best way to survive. Hope you enjoyed chapter 2 from Alice's perspective, and with apologies for the accents yet again.